the whole damn verse spinning around you with open arms. It's a race against time that plunges you deep into the black. What are you gonna do when the void stares back? You'll never stop the revolution. Time to begin your evolution. Take a leap of faith. You gotta break the illusion. You gotta make your own solution. Take a leap of faith. The future's just a void, jump away.
Greetings one and all. Welcome to Channel Other Doc. I am Jim. I use he, him pronouns. And this is our Dark Matter campaign, Ghosts of Saltmaw. Before we go around and introduce everyone, I just want to once again call attention to a couple of charities that we want to raise awareness for. We are doing a donation drive for the Bail Project. That's actually our Sprawl crew are doing that. We're in our Sprawl campaign. So for anyone who wants to donate to that, we are Team Phyllis. So you can always type !Phyllis in the chat and go to that link, or there's a button down below. I also just want to raise awareness for Campaign Zero for anyone who is interested in that. That is a group that is trying to end police violence. And so feel free to follow the link there that I put in chat to follow that if you are so inclined. And now, we shall introduce everyone. I am playing Cole Hayden, Human Gunslinger. Let us go around and say hi to everyone else, starting with Anino. Hello.
Hey everyone, my name is Anino. I use he, him pronouns, and for this campaign I play Rakmara, the Aviara Druid, who also uses he, him pronouns.
And now over to Cazimi. Hello.
Hi, I'm Cazimi. I play Clangswell Nunu Fritz Holdsbottom Thunderstruck, the space gnome, who uses they, them pronouns.
Excellent. And now let us go over to May. Hello.
Hi everybody, my name is May. I play Lastness Chain Tower, Star Dwarf Paladin, and we both use she, her pronouns. That's the word.
It's one of them, that's right. Excellent. And now down to Mem. Hello.
Hello, I'm Mem. I had too much bubble tea. I'm playing Narita Gleed, not a little witch. We both use she, her pronouns. I'm really full, I'm sorry.
Sometimes one needs to just drink the marrow out of life, or just, drink directly from the tap of plenty. Unfortunately, that also means that one must pay the consequences when one does that. But what can we do? I'll tell you what we can do. Let's turn things over to our station master, Alyssa. Hello.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. And thank you all for playing. My name is Alyssa, and I play everybody else. So like with most games on this channel, we'll be using the X card, the N card, and the O card. If at any point we stumble into subject matter that is crossing a line for anybody and we don't want to have it in the game, any one of us can type an X into the chat, make an X symbol, or if in the moment you're freaking out and you just need to say, Alyssa, no more zombies, no more spiders, what have you, we'll stop, rewind, add a dash of retcon, and it never happened.
We can do that?
Yeah. I suppose we could say we fought something else in that quote unquote haunted laboratory. if we're kind of towing the line and it's okay to have the subject in the game and you don't want a graphic description, that's where the end comes in. We'll pan to the fake fireplace, fade to black, and move on. And if at any point things are getting intense and it's okay to keep pouring on the drama, that's where the O comes into play. Feel free to proactively type an O in chat if you're just overacting and pulling a Shatner. Or if you're role playing and it's getting really intense and you think maybe it was a little too much and you want to check in, type an O with the question mark and we'll all respond as needed. So, previously on Ghosts of Saltmaw, the party returned to the space station with their prize from the drowned forest, which earned them a handsome 20,000 credits from Jalar Cankelston of the Craftspersons Guild, though it was suggested later that perhaps they ought to have asked for more. Payday led to discussions of upgrading the Space Ghost's dark matter engine, during which the party finally remembered that they still had the void crystal they'd salvaged from the wreck of the Sahuagin warship Dagobah on Chiron, as well as a shard of a mysterious metallic substance. An awkward moment ensued during which no one could quite seem to recall who had the shard last. And then the party noticed that Narita's Wizmo familiar Ted was playing with the very artifact in question. Narita offered Ted some wire odds and ends in exchange for the shard, which Ted happily accepted, and cut into toothpick-sized lengths which he used to serve up some Wizmo hors d'oeuvres. Lasness used her divine sense on the shard and determined that, although it did not register as either good or evil, it was celestial in nature. On closer inspection, Rekmara realized that the object resembled the purple crystals that manifest when he uses his abilities specific to his druid circle, and the fact that the object reacted when he used his druidic magic on it seemed to give weight to this theory. And when he brought the shard to his mentor, Sanev Patel, the Archdruid confirmed that it was, in fact, a shard of the obelisk, a strange rectangular prism that has magically appeared throughout the cosmos, landing on primitive worlds and imbuing their inhabitants with the spark of knowledge. At Sanev's suggestion, Rekmara kept the shard in order to further study and commune with it and better understand its use and perhaps one day locate the obelisk itself. Meanwhile, after attempting to place a tracker on Rekmara, who had only invited Narita to come along on his visit to Sanev, Fritz, along with Lasness and Epsilon, began the work of upgrading the Space Ghost's dark matter engine from Class 1 to Class 2. Thanks to Epsilon's encyclopedic knowledge, they were also able to learn a bit more about the late great pirate prince Sergal, whose reign of terror was ended when a sudden ion storm sent his ship, the Infinite Tomorrow, crashing into a moon near Firewatch Mall Station in the Aviara Holy Land. During his life, Sergal was known to claim allegiance to Orcus, the demon lord of the undead, and it was said that the ion storm was conjured by clerics of the Chosen, or perhaps of the Sun above, depending on who is telling the story. Once the work was well underway, Cole finally made contact with Lee and asked her out on a second date. She agreed, and the pair met at the tractor beam, where Cole gave her a gift of driving gloves that once belonged to a friend of his who had died in the line of duty. He confided that the last time he saw his friend, he told Cole to hold on to what's good now, and the episode concluded as Cole and Lee shared a first kiss. We rejoined the party as Ted, the accidental recipient of Fritz's tracking tag, makes his merry way through the corridors of Saltmaw Station. At first, he tried following Narita and Rekmara, but his mistress shooed him back to the ship, where all anyone wanted him to do was stay out from underfoot. So off he went in search of something. He looked at his grapes, 2 of them stuck together like the lenses in a pair of tiny wire-rimmed glasses. But this was no time for a snack, so he took his red crayon and drew a heart on the egg crates that held baby lizard folk before they hatched, and wandered out to the spaceport until he came to the Temple of the Chosen, There he saw a boy with a tool belt, a man with 2 pairs of aviator glasses for some reason, and a woman with 3 eyes who seemed to be talking to someone that wasn't there. The woman chewed a stick of gum and passed it to Ted when no one was looking. Ted took the gum, stuck it to the back of a medallion that he'd picked up somewhere along the way, which he proudly affixed to his chest. There was a flicker of purple energy as his tiny construct processing unit began working faster, forming new pathways in his artificial neural net, and he knew what he had to do. When Fritz breaks from working on the engine to check their tracker, it shows the little blip going back and forth from ship to station and back to the ship several times a day, stopping briefly on the bridge before trekking out and back again. Unknown to the crew, Ted has been gathering something, and we'll find out what tonight.
I'm very concerned.
So excited.
All right.
So,
So I think Fritz figured out pretty quickly that the tracker was not indeed on Rekmara once there was a disconnect between where Rekmara was and where the tracker showed. What exactly the tracker was tracking, Fritz wasn't sure, but assumed it had just gotten swept up in something until it was obvious that it kept coming back to the ship's bridge. So Fritz is going to take a little bit of a break, camp out in the ship's bridge, and wait for the tracker and see who or what it is, thinking that maybe it's something like a thwirl or something, completely oblivious to the idea that it might have been, a known party here, thinking it's going to be some great mystery that's going on. Just going to camp out and wait for the tracker to reappear.
okay. Once again, the tracker makes its way from somewhere on Saltmaw Station, perhaps in the engineering sector, back to the ship and heads through your little service access up to the bridge. You're familiar with the pathways through the bulkheads that the tracker is taking, and you know exactly where it will pop out.
All right, so I grab the pipe wrench and I wait for it to pop out, ready to pop it.
Out pops Ted, pulling a little red wagon with some components in it.
Okay, I don't pop Ted. It's like, Ted? Stop? What? What do you have here? Totally not expecting an answer, but just talking like, what is going on?
Ted answers you in a series of digital beeps and chirps, attempting to communicate, and pushes the wheelbarrow toward you, and then sort of taps another panel nearby, and out tumble a horde of other pieces that he has been collecting.
I take a look at the stuff that's been collected. Is this random junk, useful stuff, or valuable stuff?
This is pretty valuable. It's about 750 credits worth of material components.
Oh, shit. Oh, crap.
You can give me a tech roll to see if you can figure out what these pieces assemble into.
Sure thing. Let me scroll. Where's my... Ooh, natural 20 plus a 4.
Okay. You know pretty much right away that Ted has assembled the various components to build an arcane terminal. Specifically, an antivirus module.
Ted, you're building an antiviral arcane terminal. Also, you were beeping and making noises that sounded more like a language than I've heard you do before. Is that true? Maybe? Why? Narita! Just like, hang out here for a second, Ted. Got a lot of cool stuff here, I have to say. It's very cool. Pretty neat. Narita, where are you?
Narita, you hear your name being shouted over the comms.
Is Rita back on the ship?
I would assume that some time has passed and you and Rekmara have both returned to the ship.
Okay.
If you want to be elsewhere, you can be elsewhere, but yeah.
No, Narita's just been reading over that wizard spellbook from forever ago. Hears the comms, Fritz's frustration, and comes out looking for Fritz.
You find Fritz on the bridge with your familiar and a big pile of computer parts. And Ted is beeping and chirping excitedly, attempting to explain what has happened.
So Rita just kind of stares at him, his new language surprising her, and then sort of looking over at Fritz. Did Ted take these parts from you?
Not from me. As far as I can tell, he's been bringing them onto the ship from someplace else. And number one, they're actually pretty valuable. And number two, what he's got here would build an arcane terminal, specifically one that would be an antivirus of some type. And this worries me because he may know something we don't know. Then again, he may also be like totally squirrely headed, but the fact that he is now beeping in a non-random way, and wasn't he holding on to that shard for a long time? Doesn't that shard like evolve things? Isn't that what Rekmara said? Yeah.
It's kind of strange that this would happen after we take the shard from him, though, right?
Well, but we weren't paying any attention to him while he had the shard, right?
I always pay attention to Ted.
Was he beeping at you?
No. He was drawing on the walls and being Ted.
He has taken it into his little mind to build a fairly sophisticated arcane terminal, which, number one, is kind of amazing because I would have had to look up the blueprints and he's just doing it. And number two, I don't know why he's doing this. So I could do one of two things. Actually, I could do everything, but I think, can you kind of keep him occupied a little bit while I try to work on a translator of sorts to understand this beeping language so I don't have to half understand what he's trying to do? I really would like to get at why he's doing this. Now, it's Ted. He may not have a good why, but I don't want to get caught unawares.
Perhaps this is evolved Ted, and he'll be able to tell us his reason. But Narita kind of stoops down in front of him and says, "Hey, little buddy, you want to show me what you're building?"
So he's just pointing at the pile of parts?
He points at, and he starts like putting pieces into a case.
I guess you have until he's done putting it actually together. So
well, we know what it is, or I know what it is. It's just like, why?
This is how I'm keeping him occupied for you.
there is that. All right, can you make sure he doesn't like blow up anything else, and maybe make sure he just sticks around and puts together these pieces, and maybe doesn't go running off and grab any other pieces? I'm going to take a little time and see if I can build a translator of some sort that makes it a little bit easier to talk to him.
I'll give him some markers and
There you go.
teach him.
Maybe ask him, yeah, mark like label the things, all the pieces, all things.
Beep once for yes, twice for no.
I was just gonna go have him draw hearts in Cole's room, but okay.
Oh, hearts in Cole's room would be awesome, though, and totally keep him away from the parts until we figure out what we want to do with this. Like
We'll do that. We'll do that instead.
All right. I got my work cut out for me, so I'm gonna work on a translator for a little bit.
Okay. Shall we follow Ted to Cole's room?
Yes.
Let's.
Mr. Hayden.
Hello.
What are you up to?
So it how much time has passed roughly?
How much time do you want to have passed?
I mean, if it's like a different day, then I probably.
I'm assuming it's a day or two later.
Yeah, if it's like that, then I probably have been trying to find gigs for us.
Okay.
And so I've started now also, like, for the first time, looking at salvage as other possibilities. You know, so I'm looking at that, and I'm looking at I'm looking at bounty hunting gigs. The usual kind of deal.
Okay.
And I know they were talking about a missing ship, and I am interested in that, but at the same time, just since everyone's busy right now, I'm just looking at other stuff just so that we'll have things available.
All right. So there's still a request from the but now it's from the Spacers Guild and the Miners Guild together. It has both Manistrad Copperlocks's name and the head of the Spacers Guild on it, who is Guildmaster Tabeth.
Tabeth?
Mm-hmm. It has both their names on it, and they are requesting assistance clearing out some undead from Asteroid Abbey, and
oh, jeez.
So that they can begin rebuilding their way station / ice mining operation. There are also some more generic fetch quests and the like from various other guild members on the station.
Okay.
And of course, you could troll for dock rumors and what have you.
Yeah, I think that too, because just from the way that Lee was talking about the Abbey situation, I feel like that's like Cole's going to have an aversion to wanting to bring the ship into a war zone, basically.
Yeah, it is a bit of a contentious area at the moment.
Yeah, and it's like going down there. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and currently the garrison has, for the moment, routed the pirates, but who knows what else is lurking on the asteroid itself.
Okay, so yeah, this might be a good time to go down there if we want to, but at the same time, because there's not military action happening there. That's kind of more what he's trying to avoid. But it's still he'll talk to the group about it. But yeah, he will go ahead and troll for rumors if he has some ability to do that.
Sure. there is someone at the dock who is advertising vacations to the Elven Resort World Paradise 1, which seem ridiculously overpriced, as you would expect. And there's also rumors that the military that there is a there may be someone trying to make a bid to bid for a shift in power, that the council wants to have more of a civilian influence rather than military. So could be some political intrigue going on.
Okay. Kind of remember that. So, looking at it. So yeah, that's going to be... Yeah, so it just sort of sounds like theirs, but mostly it's kind of business as usual as far as he's concerned.
Elections are coming up. People are campaigning.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I guess that that being the case, having learned what information is, he gleaned what information he can from the various places. He'll just, he'll head back to, he'll head back to the ship to chat with folks. I think that whenever he's on Saltmaw Station, he's still staying in his apartment. I don't think he hasn't gotten to the point that he's staying on the ship all the time.
Right.
But he'll come back and sort of see who's there and kind of talk to them.
All right. So Narita is chasing Ted around the ship.
Yep.
Trying to keep him out of the bridge for a moment. Fritz is on the bridge. Lasness and Rekmara, where are you?
Is this a staring contest? No. Lastness is probably down in the engine room, just kind of checking out the portions of the ship that have to do with propulsion.
Okay. Everything seems to be normal. You're making good progress on all the upgrades. Is there anything else you're looking to upgrade besides the engine?
I was also interested in making sure that our shields were up to the best that they could be.
Okay. All right. So you do have shields, and they are they're just kind of the basic. They're working well, but it is possible that you could upgrade them.
I think that's something that I'd like to invest some time in.
Okay. Okay. So an overshield upgrade runs about 5,000 credits.
That's more than a couple thousand that I actually have.
Yeah.
There's no way to jerry-rig anything else in particular?
You could try.
Well, I guess everybody left me alone in here for a reason.
Oh dear.
I think I'll give it a go.
Okay. Go ahead and make a tech roll.
Okay. Because I'm gonna make a tech roll, does that mean my dwarven engineering comes into play where I have proficiency?
Yes, indeed.
Nice. +2, +1. Plus another 2. 1 + 1 + 2 + 1. Okay. I got a natural 20.
Oh, okay. So, suffice it to say, you are able to work with your current shield generator to crank it up to 11, shall we say, without actually having to install a second generator to add to your shielding capabilities. So it is running even better than it was for now.
Now, the secret is crystals.
She craves that mineral. All right.
How long would that take? Like, that would take at least a day, definitely.
Yeah, probably at least a day. So it's probably going to stretch out your overall time back out to like a full week.
Great.
Yeah. All right. In the meantime, anything else? All right, Rekmara. You got that obelisk shard.
Yes.
Now what?
So so Rekmara is in his room, and he'll actually have the bug that he had rescued earlier, just sitting there on the round coffee table, and he'll put the shard at the center of the table and sit cross-legged there, and he will begin to try to attune to the shard.
All right. So you focus on the shard for 30 minutes to an hour, and you feel your senses start to expand, like zooming out from the ship to the space station to the Lexay sector to the galaxy and a little bit beyond, and you sense something familiar out in the galactic frontier. Something like this shard moving vaguely toward you, but very, very far away. And I will drop the item card into our chat on Discord, so you know what happens when you attune to this item. Also, if you happen to hear Ted rolling by outside your quarters, you can understand what he's trying to say.
The fuck? What? Okay, I'll bite. What is he trying to say?
He's attempting to explain to Narita, who is trying to distract him with child's play, that he is trying to pull his weight as a member of this crew, and he's beeping and bubbling at her rather exasperatedly.
Huh. He's just gonna poke his head out and just stare at Ted. Hey. You, what are you working on?
And he explains to you in the binary language of machines that he is trying to build an antivirus module for the ship's computer. But Fritz didn't like it.
It's like, is that going to be compatible with the non-arcane parts of the ship?
It should be fine.
Are you sure?
Yes. It's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Okay, but wait a minute. When did you start knowing how to build ship parts?
Like a week ago?
I was going to produce the shard. Did you do something with this?
What do you mean, did I do something with it?
Did you interact with it in some manner?
Well, yeah, I had it in the stash of stuff.
Huh. Okay, well, this is off limits to you now. This is druid business.
Whatever.
Listen, this thing brought you into this sphere of awakeness, and I can use it to take you out of it.
You're not my real dad.
Narita walks up.
Oh God!
Listening to Reparad threaten poor Ted and doesn't know what's happening. Like, excuse me, what are you doing? And hunkers down next to poor Ted and sort of soothes his full head. Why would you do that to him?
He makes
Millie's
that fish
being
face inside his fishbowl.
Yeah, and Fritz runs up with the a little module attached to the a little module attached to their headset. And it's like, hey, I think I got it now. I think I can understand what you're saying, Ted.
And I
And
finished
then I
building the thing now.
Yeah, the antiviral. You want an antivirus on the ship? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
So are you sure it's not going to have a problem with the non-arcane parts of the ship? Because you're building it as an arcane part.
And I can use it to take...
There's already arcane parts on the ship.
Yes, but I've been managing... I look around for a moment and realize that like, Rita is sort of like doing this, like, what are you doing thing? And Rek Mara is like totally understanding this whole conversation, and it's confusing. And it's just like... I think something happened here, but we should probably check off with each other when changes are happening, so we don't like cross some wires somewhere along the line. Metaphorically speaking, of course.
So that's when Lastness opens her compact her compact, which is also her comm on the ship, and she says, okay, well then, in light of that, I guess I should tell you all that I'm increasing the power of the shields with water and some other stuff, and it's going great. We're almost done. And also, I heard something about an antivirus. Are we sure that arcane technology is going to merge with the parts that aren't arcane on this ship? Has anybody asked that question yet?
Ted just blows bubbles inside his little fishbowl.
Literally, Fritz just like deeply sighs for a moment. It's like, okay.
Okay,
So
well,
I-
at any rate, I just want to point out that you have now two different people in one thing making modifications to the ship without any coordination. I
Yes,
suggest
exactly.
that somebody takes the lead engineer role, and you guys schedule weekly meetings in order to keep your projects all aligned.
That's a great idea. I don't think I can do anything more than coordinate our playlist, so I would suggest someone else.
And yet somehow you're
Congratulations.
upgrading parts.
Congratulations,
totally,
Fritz. You're now the lead engineer of this vessel.
like
And
I
he's
wasn't
just going to
before.
slam his door shut and go back to go back to using the shard of the obelisk in order to find out where the nearest other shard is located.
Can I assume
So
we're back in
Fritz-
free-for-all mode and can communicate now? Or is this...
Yes.
It's going to kind of finally
Fritz
come
is-
back around. What?
One
Wait,
tie
what?
up here. Fritz is going to look up at Lasness and look down at Ted. It's like, if you expect me to schedule any meetings, you're crazy. Not happening. Just check in with me. And Fritz takes off back to the bridge.
Hey, is something going on out here?
Rita checks in. I'm not 100% sure. I guess Ted's making upgrades now?
Wait, what?
I don't know.
Hang on, I'm almost at the ship. I'll be there in 5. Just checking. How is Ted making upgrades to the ship?
I'm making the assumption based on what was said by Rekmara, saying that there are 2 members of the crew and 1 thing, and I'm assuming the thing is Ted because he brought a bunch of parts. However, also he's learned a language that I don't understand, so who knows?
Wait a minute, that was... When did we... One of us built Ted, didn't we? Didn't
We
someone
found
here
Ted
build
Found
on-
Ted.
Found Ted. Where did we find Ted?
on the ship.
On this ship. Okay. Yeah. Well, do you think maybe this is what Ted did before we was doing in some capacity before the ship started being a hot potato?
You saw Ted before.
Yeah, you're right. That makes no sense. I'm just saying, unless there was some sort of weird programming thing that got shaken loose or something, I don't know. If you had some protocols or something that we've just kicked back open again or something.
Fritz mentioned maybe the shard.
Oh. Okay. That's interesting that it can evolve. If it can evolve creatures if it can evolve, artificial intelligence. Are you telling me Ted's alive now? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Ted has always been alive.
Okay, I'm not gonna get into that philosophical debate right now.
However, Ted is slightly more intelligent than previously, it seems. And he no longer enjoys doodling on walls with me, which is a little sad. As a
So
mother,
you're-
I didn't expect him to grow up so fast.
I always do.
Ted takes the marker and draws a little. It might be a mushroom. It might be something else.
I'm going to wander onto the ship, and I just sort of glance over, finally looking over as he's drawing this, and I'm like, oh yeah, they grow up real fast, don't they?
I find this a very mature drawing.
When he was scribbling on the walls before, he was trying to speak to us, wasn't he? Lasness chirps over the comm. There's a clank of something falling. She says, "Whoops!" And then she says, "How does everybody feel about space indie techno with a bass drop?"
No.
You
Depends
just
on the
hear an
volume.
audible. You hear an audible click as if a comm was being turned off.
And sort of, well, hey, listen, whoever's around, we've got. I just wanted to talk about potential jobs for us if we're ready to have that conversation.
I am. We need money for better engines and a better streaming service.
Do we have a streaming service?
Well, it's free.
No, yeah. I mean,
You gotta deal with
I was meaning the
commercials
standard
and-
comms, yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I just sort of glance over and I look at I look sort of cock my head at the drawing and I'm like, that stem should be a little longer, and I just sort of turn and head kind of in the direction of the bridge. I'm sort of glancing over her shoulder. Look, Narita, you want to talk about gigs? I'm gonna head up to the bridge if you want to talk.
Sure. But also, don't lie to Ted. He knows better.
Who's lying?
Before we head over to talk about the plans, Nuri kind of hunkers down and tells Ted, like, if you want to go work on your project, you're free to. Just update Fritz.
And actually, before Cole makes it to the bridge, Fritz is going to loop back down to where Narita and Ted last were to track down where Ted is. And it's just like, hey, Ted, I know you don't have a comm of your own, but I think this might work. And manages to make a change so that the tracker that is still currently attached to Ted actually now functions as a translated two-way communications directly to Fritz. So Fritz
Nice.
and Ted can talk whenever they are within audio range or within tracker range, which is a fair distance. So
I expect all of the translations of Ted's random little thoughts.
and Fritz seems to have like just jumped right on board with the whole, okay, we've got another crew member, he's pulling his way. It's just like totally just owns that. Yeah, you have shown me and you know what you're doing. I am not going to ask too many questions about where the parts came from, but I think I would really like to pay for the next round. So before you go taking off and grabbing things, check in with me and we'll see if we can source some stuff for you. I don't want to. Yeah, never mind. Trying to explain pirates to a robot is hard.
So Ted toddles back to the bridge as fast as a tiny construct can go. And continues working on assembling the pieces of the antivirus module. So, those of you who are going to the bridge to discuss future gigs.
I mean, it's not like they have to be on the bridge. We can just open the comms, but
Okay.
you know, so that everyone who's on the comms currently can hear.
Yeah.
Some of us apparently are not.
Yeah.
So just sort of be so. I guess as I just sort of head up there, sort of with Lasness and there and Narita, and I'm just sort of like, and I'll open the comms on it. Hey, so I went fishing for see what folks are looking for right now. Ran across one thing, and then so I ran across a couple of potential things. Just sort of depends on how we want to lean on this. But before I start, did anyone else have anything that they wanted to bring up that we haven't gotten to yet? I remember there was like a missing ship or something.
Chiron.
Oh,
Brainworms.
no brainworms. No. We can wait on the whole, looking out after disappeared ships and shipwrecked ships, and there's a couple of different ships, but I don't think that they're anything that we need to jump on right away, especially if there's the opportunity to make a little cash to do a few more upgrades before we start diving deep into the farther reaches of space here.
Okay. Well, as I see it, we got a couple of options. So I was looking around. The big thing that seems to be crowding out all the main channels right now is this blow up over by the asteroid abbey. I don't know if you folks have been hearing about it, but apparently they've managed to, for the time being, they've knocked out most of the pirate activity in the area. They're still on the lookout for it to come back, but there's still a bunch of undead down there that they're looking for people to go and clear out. So if you'd be interested in just sort of just swoop in and hit sort of an undead hit operation, then there's that. But everything else I've seen is mostly lately is just going out and again fetching more things for folks. I mean, so there are a bunch of those around. The various guilds have thrown up there, so those are an option. Only other thing I could think of if we wanted to avoid both of those would be to just start looking through wanted posters. I mean, that's always what I used to do, but that's just sort of wanted to kind of, I guess, feel the room, see what you folks were thinking. And you can see Cole is kind of like, it's not exactly like he's uncomfortable talking about it this way, but it's like he's still sort of getting used to like figuring out how to do this by committee. So he's just kind of gone into he's gone a little bit back into his old job mode where he just sort of it's like, here's this report. What do you want to do?
Undead sounds interesting.
How much does the undead job make?
Well, it's got 2 guilds behind it now, so I think they've upped the reward. And I'll punch it in, and I will look and see if there are numbers there.
And what's the success metric for the undead? Undead are not a thing that I am good at.
Just go up against some in the forest on the planet side. It was kind of a tough encounter, but that was partly because of the assassin vine.
This is true.
Mm.
Well, I mean, I figure if we avoid trees, then it'll probably be a bit better than it was last time. It sort of depends on how many they got down there. I try to pull up as much information I can about what what's been reported.
All right. So the report that you can bring up from the garrison that was sent out from here says that the pirates were it seemed to be fleeing the asteroid by the time the garrison arrived. Like they'd had a difficult fight with the undead on the asteroid and were cutting their losses, perhaps. The station, the research or remains of the research station are difficult to get to because you have to find a clear place to land on the asteroid and then make your way through the cratered valley that people are calling Skull Gorge to the building itself, which is badly damaged and may or may not be particularly functional anymore. So you'd have low gravity, perhaps, vented atmosphere in the building. And of course, still the remains of whatever undead horde was lurking in the place. There is a Spacers Guild contact in the region a little closer to the asteroid itself at another mall that might have more information. And of course, you could talk to Guildmaster Tabith or Manistrad herself. But pretty much the report is what you've already heard from Lee. So.
Yeah. So I will relay the information in the report, obviously, and sort of make sure. Well, I'll just send it to everyone's personal devices or whatever they have. Contact information. So that's what we know about it right now. Was there any if I dig a little, is there any information about the rough crew size of the pirate ship that was fleeing? Or what they think the crew size might have been?
Really. The garrison destroyed a couple of ships and then one got away. So.
They big ships? Or
no.
little ships?
Not particularly big. It wasn't legendary like, say, the Infinite Tomorrow or anything like that.
Yeah.
No.
And there were three, so it looks like they had three smaller ships out there. We don't know what their crew complements were, but they were fleeing. So I mean, it's probably not gonna be the easiest gig in the world if we want to do it.
And what exactly is it? I'm still not 100% sure on like what the
I'll go into the Abbey and take out the undead.
Okay, and then basically thumbs up for other people to come back in and take back over again.
Yeah.
Clear it out enough that somebody else could like deal with it.
Yeah, pretty much it's going to be then sort of between Copperlocks and Tabeth. They get to fight over it at that point.
Got it. So I guess nuking it from orbit is not the intended answer.
Yeah, I get a feeling that would impact our bottom line if we tried to do that, yeah.
Yeah, that was so successful the one time we really did it. It's just sort of like a nice go-to, but obviously like you said, not great for the bottom line on this one.
Yeah. So I mean, some of them want to mine, some of them want to set up a kind of a their substation there, and they're getting to the point they might be able to, since this is a joint thing, then they're, they might actually work it out if the place gets cleared out, but it sort of depends.
I'm not a druid. I don't really have a lot to say on this other than I can keep us in communications and maybe electrify some stuff. If there's something left in the research lab to turn back on again or use in our favor, I might be able to do that. But other than that, I don't. And getting us there, I don't know that there's much else I can contribute.
And like I said, if we don't want to do this one, we can always, go hunting more furniture or whatever. What do you folks think?
No, I'm okay with it.
I'm feeling a little delicate, sensitive, since I almost died last time. But if the majority of the crew wants to go, I will lay my life on the line yet again.
I think a lot ends up hinging on Rek'Mara and the fact that he has some firepower and some ability to pull people's asses out of the fire once it is lit. The question is whether or not he wants to be involved in this, and I'm not going to turn his comm on remotely to talk to him about it. So somebody else gets to approach him about this one.
Oh, he's not listening? Oh, okay.
No, he turned his comm off a while ago.
Huh.
He did? Why?
I think he got tired of I have no idea what, but I think he's going off to like La La Land with the space rock again.
Happy to go get him, and Rita just kind of says it and then turns around and walks out to go to his room.
Okay. So, meanwhile, Rek'Mara, you're continuing to commune with the obelisk shard.
Yes.
You have attuned to the object, and you now have a grasp on what it enables you to do. And you do sense another, whether it is the whole obelisk or just a small fragment, you're not sure, but you do sense another piece of it.
And it's located where?
Somewhere out near the edge of the galactic frontier.
Is that anywhere near this asteroid?
No, it's in the opposite direction.
Oh, Nikes.
It does seem to be in motion, and at the moment it is moving this way. And it's a long ways out.
Ugh. And no way to accelerate it either. All right, you'll finish. You'll actually put the shard in a safe place upon his person and head out of the room to walk and think.
Okay. So, Narita, as you head towards Rek'Mara's quarters, you see him come out.
Hey, we're talking about a job. Do you want to join us or no?
No.
Well, fine. She just turns around and walks back.
Okay. All right. Narita comes back without the druid. What is everybody doing?
Looking at wanted posters.
Looking at wanted posters. Okay. Well,
Astrogation, checking where everything is on the map, seeing how long it would take us, what mod jumps we would have to do to get to the asteroid, etc.
okay. You could take one mod jump out to get closer to the Abbey. It's going to be the maw that is directly in between the gnomish home planet and Saltmaw. That's the closest one, and the asteroid is near the edge of the dead magic zone.
Oh, cool. So familiar territory.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You could take you could use the maw stations to jump and then just get there to the asteroid with your impulse engines. Easy enough, barring any unforeseen complications. As far as wanted posters and other requests, Jalar has a request out for deck planks stolen from a pirate ship.
Who uses deck planks anymore? I just say that out loud as I'm
You can't
looking
just
at
rip
it.
our extra deck planks off, right? I suppose technically it would count.
There is that one room that was really decked out in old-timey sea captain's quarters.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I was just sort of looking at it like, deck plates, I'd understand, but deck planks? What the hell?
Maybe we can, just rip apart that chest.
She's looking for antiques.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair. And I'm sorry, who is that again? That's the...
Jill Kankleston.
Oh, okay. Yeah, of course it is.
What is with
Who
wood?
else? There's also a request from the Miners Guild from Manastrad to track down a thief who stole a shipment of expensive mining gear.
Ah. That one looks promising. Hey, Miners Guild wants someone to catch someone who made off with their mining gear. It's a
Heck, we
possibility.
could probably stick Ted on that one.
I want it. Is he gonna tie his shoe?
Ted's gonna be the one stealing the mining gear, or what?
He would certainly understand the concept and would know what mining gear is and would know how to get there.
Busy.
Also, Ted has evolved beyond just shoelaces, sir.
Was that Ted?
That's Ted telling me that he's
Oh, yeah.
busy. I'll tell him when he's busy. He's got to pull his weight around here as a ship's crew member as well. And if that means helping us out on a job so that you've got supplies.
What was the deal with the shoelace tying?
I'm not going to ask him. It's probably some deep traumatic thing.
Okay, so that's one. Are there any others I should be aware of right now, or were those those two the main ones that are popping up? I mean, if those are the only two that are popping up right now, that's fine. I don't.
Well, it depends. If you feel like going back to Lexay, you could go hunt some more undead. There seem to be a lot of people having problems with various types of undead in the verse.
And there's that's it. What the hell? No, it's another call on for more undead hunting back down on the planet. The hell's going on?
I was going to say, if we're undead hunting, I'd rather do it on the limited circumscribed area in the asteroid where we're less likely to be attacked by the trees and the swamp and the demons and the whatever else is out there.
Yeah,
too.
yeah, that's a good point. That is kind of unsettling, though, if there are going to be that many. I'm wondering if there's something to that cult.
That's that story, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm wondering that too. At the same time, I'm wondering how much or what. I mean, undead is not my thing. I don't know from undead.
I mean, whose is it? You know.
Whether there's anything we can buy that helps us out against undead. I mean, brainworms, yeah, we got that one nailed. But undead, I don't know.
Or if you'd prefer, you could assist Captain Azaleen in doing some planetary scans of Chiron to see what's going on with the water down there.
Yes. Brainworms.
Is that actually something that comes up on the thing, or is that for?
Yeah, that is probably another thing that is on the station news.
And that Nautilid ship is looking for help with planetary scans, so we want to do that. How good are our scanners?
Well, we could probably make them a little better if we needed to.
I could help.
So I mean, we wanted to hang out in orbit and do that. I guess there's,
Or if you wanted to go down planet side and see if you can actually locate the source of the worms, but
yeah.
I don't know that I would recommend that.
Yeah, probably a little early to do that.
It is. Oh, is it?
Yeah, I'd be back in the nuke them from orbit
Yeah.
real fast on that one. Sorry.
Yeah. I'm expecting that one's probably, just the hanging out and add scanners to their scanners probably isn't going to pay a lot, but but it does pay some, I think. Yeah. So we got a few options. Depends on what we want to do. But, I agree with you about the, rather have the undead in an enclosed space rather than, where they can get at you from anywhere. If we were going to do that.
And I mean, if worst really came to worst, we could just nuke it from orbit if we really ran into trouble, but...
Yeah.
How upset do you think they'd be if we nuked their asteroid from orbit?
Well, the research station. Probably we would be giving up the any bounty that we would get from doing the job, but at the same time, we could probably live.
I mean, we could probably live if we don't go.
Could also you
There's
could
that.
also fly out there and do some recon and try to see assess whether or not you could handle the job.
Or we could fly out there and do some recon and assess whether or not we can handle the job.
If we can see the mounds of undead from the ship in orbit, probably not. I'm fine with this plan.
How close am I to finishing the shields?
I'd say by the time all of this conversation is happening, it's probably nearing the end of the week, so you're probably good to go.
All right, well, I'm nearly done here, so wherever you guys want to go, my stuff should hold up pretty well, probably. Yeah, definitely, mostly.
Sounded like Ted.
Probably a shakedown run wouldn't be a bad idea. Just to check it out, and always good to go a little closer to home. Pick up some goodies on the way, things that you can't get out here at Saltmaw anyway.
And make a recon trip to Asteroid Abbey.
Sure, and maybe, depending on how that goes, well or poorly, Maybe stop over at Nibelian afterwards just to say hi to the folks.
Sounds good. Why don't we go ahead and take our break here, and then we'll head out when we come back.
We could totally do that.
Sounds good.
That sounds as though almost as though that were like a planned thing. Let me see. Okay, where are we on the other thing? Yes. Okay, I will slot this thing into this other thing. There we go. Whilst I Okay. Yes, let's do that. Okay. All right. We're going to take a quick break, during which there shall be an interview played, and we will be back to see you in a few minutes. See you soon. Welcome to the break. I have Trooper SJP with me today to talk about all manner of things. Hello.
Hello, hello.
Yay.
All manner of things.
All manner of things. But one thing I wanted to start out with, though, is just you do streaming and a great deal of RPGs. How did you get into streaming in the first place?
It must have been 5 or so years ago when I was watching Geek and Sundry, and that's what got me into streaming. I mean, I wasn't one of the old video game Twitch folks. I got into it through RPGs, and I was watching Geek and Sundry, and that sort of led me to Hyper, which led me to one particular. And I was doing sort of community stuff, and that led me to one of their GMs, and I became a mod in her channel, and Random Tuesday, she's great. And the thing that happened was that I thought, well, this would be fun, but I can't stream because I'm a teacher, and that might be weird. Like, what if my students find me? Like, I just don't know. I don't know if I could do that. It just might not be logistically feasible. And then she ended up streaming on her own channel. She's just started streaming, not just through Hyper RPG, but on her own. And I became a mod, and I thought, she is not only a teacher, she's like a middle school, elementary school teacher. Like, and I'm teaching university students who cares? They're all, you know what I mean? Like, if they actually see me, it probably wouldn't make a big difference. And seeing her do it and having someone that I could ask questions to and figure out, okay, well, what are the logistics? How does one do this? Like, how do you deal with, because this streaming is not just, can you get the tech up, but it's also, okay, well, do I have to worry about my students finding me? How do you manage the emotional part? And having a model of somebody who was able to create a community and sort of manage it well made me think, oh, yeah, no, I can do this. And I started off easy mode, doing streaming through my PS4, because the PS4 has a button, and I don't actually have to know. I didn't have to know how to do OBS or anything like that, and that just started it. And from there, I figured out how to do OBS, and then from there, like little bit by little bit, I was able to work through it. And I mean, what's interesting to me is that it's a much larger. There's a lot more to it than one might initially think. Especially, are you going to have a Discord and sort of try to do community building through that as well on top of it? Will you do games, RPGs? How are you going to sort of think about getting art or not for sort of setting everything up? What kind of experience do you want to have? And I suppose, what kind of streamer do you want to be? And I learned that there are these streamers who play, I don't know, Fortnite, and they have 18 million viewers every time they show up, and they also stream 80 hours a week. And I was like, no, I don't want to do that. That won't be, that is interesting, but not interesting for me. And people always say things like, oh, if you want to be more popular, you could stream these things. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to stream what's interesting. And then I think what's great about that is that you then cultivate a community who is there for that. And then you can stream the kinds of things that you're interested in and get a community of people who are also interested in those things. And it's just nicer.
Cool. Now, I see that, speaking of getting into streaming communities, I was looking through your website, and I see that you did a newsletter for one of the, was it a Hyper RPG show?
It was, yes. Yes.
It was for their Shadowrun game.
Yes.
Would you like to talk about it a little bit?
Sure. So you know how some people are, there are different types of gamers out there, and I have always been a sort of a character-driven simulationist gamer, whereas I'm really interested in the world itself and how people interact in that world. And one of the things I've always loved to do as a GM is, depending on the setting, is create newspaper stories. Because I like to, rather than having a set plot that I do, I tend to have a world, and there are people in the world who have plots they have going on, but who knows what will happen. And I really like to have a world where the players impact the world both in small and large ways. And I always wondered, well, how do I let the players know in an organic way the ways in which they're impacting the world? And having a newspaper was one of those ways that I would do it, where I would sort of come out with a newspaper every couple of sessions that would sort of mark in these small and subtle ways the ways in which they've impacted the world, as well as have plot hooks. And so for this game, which I loved, I thought, well, what could I do? And what I decided to do was to create a reporter character who was in the world that the show was set in. And I thought, okay, here's a person. The challenge for myself is to write stories based on only what was happening in the public of that game. So any kind of conversations happening behind closed doors, a reporter would never know about. But if there's a firefight downtown on the freeway, a reporter would know about that. And then sort of writing these stories that would sort of inform the community that had grown up, because there was a bit of a metagame in that particular RPG as well, where viewers could sort of do faction turns. And so I was reporting on the faction turns, and I was reporting on all the public things, and other people became really inspired, and they would also submit stories. And it was just this kind of neat sort of in-game world to show in some ways the ways in which the average person on the street might view Shadowrunners, PCs, and the ways in which that might impact regular folks. And that was really fun. And that was a big project in the end, to sort of put out a newspaper every week. But it was good. It was really good. That was great fun. And that was one of my first my personal big entrance as more than just a viewer for a stream community.
It's a very interesting thing, really, because it's I think it just shows how early on we still are with this whole medium, that it can be that engaging. But I haven't heard of many streams doing something like that as of yet. Yeah. But it's very cool. It's very cool.
And it's all about, I think, that's all about player investment, right?
Yeah.
Or viewer investment, and the different ways in which you can get viewer investment. And I think Hyper RPG does a lot, but a lot of the ways in which shows will generate viewer investment is through donations, but that's not the same thing as having viewers create things. Yeah. And how do you create a show that allows viewers to create things without negatively impacting the campaign? Yeah. Which can happen in all sorts of ways. I mean, I've seen shows where people are able to donate, and donate will get you things, but what that ends up doing is skewing. Like, well, now the players have 18 advantage things, and you're like, well, that's going to be a little bit rough, or trolling happens or whatever. So ways in which you can get a healthy engagement that encourages players to sort of take on the living world and sort of, you know what did that actually really well? Mm-hmm. It was Shield of Tomorrow had this Discord channel, which was Shield of Tomorrow was a Star Trek RPG on Geek and Sundry. Mm-hmm. And they had in their Discord, they had an RP set of RP channels, and the players would just sort of make up crew members for this sort of Star Trek ship that were on different shifts, right? So they were never seen, but they were around. And then the cast, the GMs, saw who they were and then noted them down. So like, oh yeah, so the person who's on shift 3 is so and so, and would like name check these people that the viewers had sort of created. And ways in which you can interact that way, I think I'm really excited to see how that can go.
Me too, absolutely. Very much looking forward to how this whole medium evolves as time goes on. Well, thank you very much for coming and chatting with us for a bit. If folks want to find you online, where should they go?
Ooh, you can find me on Twitch at TrooperSJP, which is where I do my streaming. You can find me at Academic Foxhole on Twitter, where I speak randomly about things inconsistently, intermittently, and oddly, and too verbosely. You can find me in either of those places.
We encourage verbosity on this channel. Excellent. All right. Well, folks, I'm going to throw things back over to me, or possibly to a video graphic of some kind if we're still backstage panicking, which we probably are. But in the meantime, we will see you later. We have returned.
So, before we went to break, the party had decided to do a recon mission to see if they felt up to the task of clearing out Asteroid Abbey for the Spacers Guild. Is there any preparation you would like to do before you leave Saltmaw?
Fritz is going to see if there's any actual substance that's good against undead in general, and if so, stock up, and if not, cross fingers and take a lot of healing potions.
Okay. Radiant damage does help typically to prevent undead from regenerating, as does fire, and holy water.
Are there holy water grenades?
There might be.
Just those be flasks of holy water.
They,
I mean,
they
you know-
might be grenade shaped on a space station.
Well, if they aerosolize it, can you aerosolize holy water and then make it more effective against more targets?
Perhaps.
Water nebulizer.
Yeah, holy water nebulizer.
If you talk to the right people.
They do that thing. Do they have like these grenades with the holy symbol pin that you pull out?
Probably.
That would be cool.
You also, you may recall, or you may not, because there was a lot going on when you were clearing out that laboratory. You may recall encountering a member of the medical team who was a cleric who was rather fond of fire.
That is true. Well, that was who I was saying. That was the head of the cleric EMT.
No, that was not the chief medical officer. That was her lieutenant.
I know that they had been a cleric. I just didn't. I kind of figured they'd be busy doing their station duties.
If we do this quickly enough, it wouldn't be that big a deal.
Like, want to make a little extra on the side?
It's a Maw station. Everybody's got a side gig.
That is true.
Can we put out an ad? Are you a low-key savage? Do you need a space hustle?
Are you going to?
Do you have holy water? If so, please join us.
I am going to send Lee a message letting her know that we're probably going to be doing a reconnaissance gig out there, just so
Okay.
that she knows where I'm going to be.
All right.
And that we actually then go and do the thing depending on if we're able to, if it looks like we can go in and do the thing. So real talk, folks, do we want to hire a cleric before we leave, or what do we want to do?
Nah, let's risk it.
I think we absolutely want to hire a cleric before we leave. Preferably the fire-toting one that we know.
If the price is fair.
Oh, we'll just negotiate it up to cover. Call it a
Yeah.
pass-through cost.
Yeah, I mean, we could just say, you get a cut. Or
Yep.
it sort of depends on what the contract
They can get
is.
Rec Moraz cut since he's
So-
not coming.
Are you looking to
Is
hire the cleric or just purchase some holy grenades?
I personally would rather hire the cleric. More bodies, more targets.
All right.
Sure.
I think it would be cool to have holy grenades, but that's only because I just want to be able to say that I have holy grenades.
Okay.
And I don't, it's not
If you
actually
hire a
based on
cleric,
anything.
The cleric may bring some holy hand grenades.
Ooh. Are there such things as like radiant flash grenades, things of that nature?
Because
mean-
most of the weapons in the Dark Matter book deal radiant damage.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, like every blaster does.
You know, I should just be looking through the dark matter equipment section like an adult, instead of just continuously asking you these questions. I'm sorry.
Concussion grenade. That one does thunder damage, though.
Only 2,500 gold if we want a singularity emitter.
All right. So you go and you hire Damascus to accompany you.
I think that'll be easier.
Damascus is the one that has black scales and likes to set things on fire, as opposed to Sora, who's the chief medical officer on the ship, and she will be staying to hold down the fort. But you can take Damascus with you. Anything else? And yes, Damascus will bring some holy water. How many holy water grenades do you want?
30. How many can you fit on a bandolier? And then double that, because then they should be wearing 2 bandoliers, like, X pattern.
You can hold 6 of them on one bandolier. So if you're wearing 2 bandoliers, then a dozen.
So you're saying that all of us should be wearing 2 bandoliers so that we would all have 12 grenades?
Oh my god.
It's going into the fee, but sure.
Oh god.
No, I'm not going to be waterlogged, thank you. I carry lightning, water, lightning, not a good combo. Keep me away, thank you.
I feel as though that might be a touch overkill. Of course, we're not down there yet. I'm just gonna ask for 3.
Okay.
3 is a good number for me, because most of the time I'm just going to be shooting things, so I'm probably not going to have much time to throw things.
All right. All right. So I'm going to say that Damascus comes with 10 holy water grenades. That's enough for everybody to have 2, except Fritz doesn't want any, so there are 2 extras. Cole gets 1 of them, which means Cole has 3. Who else would like to have 3 holy water grenades? Or feel free to divide them amongst yourself however you like.
Can't Narita just empty them into her suit and then, attach a hose to just spray it out?
Does it not incorporate with the rest of the fluid in my suit? I don't know how that works.
She kind of needs the water in her suit.
Does it all become holy water if it gets touched by a little bit of holy water?
I'm not sure.
Will the holy water burn Narita?
Is Narita undead?
Well, she's a witch. Close enough.
Doesn't that mean... No, never mind.
I don't think the holy water would burn Narita, but every time somebody mentions the undead Narita, you see a little bit of a purple haze kind of on the edge of your vision, and you feel like you really would like to kill some.
Really excited to kill some undead.
Oh dear.
You don't sound excited.
Neither do you. I don't say anything about that.
Well, that's kind of my thing.
Maybe it's mine.
Oh no.
No, I'm not sure that's the case.
You're right, it's not. But I am excited.
You two don't pipe down on the comms. I'm going to start pumping in a lot of new wave country.
You just want an excuse to do that, but you're going to do it no matter what we do.
Just turn on the comm A and let's go.
Which country? No, never mind.
I'll take the extra grenade if no one else claimed it, by the way.
Okay. No one else has spoken up for it, so it's yours. And whenever you're ready, you can make the jump to the next small station over.
Excellent. Is that the same one that we
No. It's a different
one?
direction.
Different
to
direction.
get to Chiron, you go that way. To get to the Abbey, you go that way.
Okay.
This is the one that's kind of close to dead magic zones, right?
Yes.
Yeah, nearer to Nebelion, sorry.
I should look at the map.
Asnus is flying, right? Or piloting, I guess I should say.
Okay. So we're heading one clockwise.
Yes.
Okay. Whereas when we went to Chiron, we went one or two counterclockwise.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that. Okay.
Yep.
Two up, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It was up? Oh, there it is. Yes. It's on the map. It's just not spelled the way I thought it was. Okay.
It doesn't have a pronunciation guide, so you could call it whatever you want.
Quran. Awesome.
So, one more jump clockwise. And you can disembark on this small station. Fritz, this is the closest small station to your home planet. What is it called? What is the station called? Does it have a name?
It's gnomish. It's predominantly gnomish. It probably has about 11 names. The way that gnomish things get named, probably commonly, it is. Oh, don't make me make something up at the top of the. I'm bad at this. It's a one-word name, and then there's like 10 other words that I'll come up with at some other point too. Sorry.
Okay. So you jump to Gearmaw.
That works.
And then you can go ahead and have a chat with Major Ursa of the Lixia garrison, who happens to be currently stationed here, keeping an eye on the pirate activity. And see if there's any further information you can glean, or you can just take a cruise out and check out the rock. Although then you might have to have a retroactive conversation with Major Ursa. It depends on whether you want to ask forgiveness or permission, since you have not officially accepted the job yet.
This is true. Though we're probably more likely to get the money if they know that we're going in there. This is at Gearmaw Station, where we check in with him. I've forgotten how.
Or you can skip that part. It's up to you.
Forgotten how the protocol works here.
Theoretically, if you're taking the job, you should check in with Guildmaster Tabith on Saltmaw or with Manistrad Coprologs.
Oh, that's true. Those were back on
Say
Saltmaw.
you did that before you left.
Oh, okay, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, if we're going to the trouble of hiring the cleric, then I feel as though we're taking the job.
Okay.
So,
right.
then I think that yeah, I probably would have at least sent them a message saying we're going to go after this. That is many words.
Yeah. Those are words. Okay, this is Gearmaw, Wanderlight, Bang, Grommets, Wang, Doodle, Capture, Flinder, Snitch, Gazeboid, Mentor, Handle, Snoot.
It loses something in translation, I think.
Most humanoids, non-gnomes, tend to just stop at Gearmaw because that's what they can handle. Most gnomes actually call it Snoot.
So, flying to Gearmaw, is that referred to as booping the snoot?
Very, very close.
Okay.
Buzzing the maw is boop snooping.
Okay.
I figure that's just sort of buzzing the control tower or something.
All right. Okay, so you've accepted the job. You've flown to Gearmaw, or you've jumped to Gearmaw, rather. You didn't fly all the way there on impulse engines. No. You jumped to Gearmaw. You can park for a while.
That's true. We should probably... Go ahead.
I was going to say, long enough to check in, and I think Cole or whoever actually knows about the job should just double check the intel that we got about the situation. And Fritz is going to immediately hit the local convenience store and pick up some favorite snacks.
Okay. Easy enough. All right. So, who is checking in with Major Ursa? Cool.
Guess it's just me.
Just you. Okay.
Do I know this guy, or is this this is a different area? So I'm guessing no.
You're probably not as familiar with this particular person.
Okay. Is he, in fact, a werebear?
You don't know.
Okay.
He is in human form at present, if he is.
Okay. You have to keep an eye on these things. I mean, who goes around calling themselves Major Ursa if they're not? That's what I want to know.
Major Ursa is, in fact, retired from the Lickshay garrison and not here on active duty, but you know how you never really leave.
Yeah.
Everybody still keeps contacting him. He is a large barrel-chested man with a bright red beard and balding red hair. He, in fact, is no longer in Lickshay military uniform, but he wears a red and yellow tartan kilt.
Okay. So, he'll go to. I guess he has an office or something here, or something. Yeah.
Yep.
So try to see if I can get in and see him in his office.
Yep. He is. You can find him on the bridge with the amoeboid maw keepers.
Okay.
He fancies himself a modern day lighthouse keeper.
All right.
He's a lonely poet.
Perhaps. So.
All right.
So he will meet you in his office off of the bridge. And can I get you a drink?
And he just sort of shrugs. Yeah. He's like, well, we're probably going to be. Actually, we've got a little time. I think Fritz is visiting family or something before we go down. Isn't that right, or are we doing that afterwards?
Fritz is shopping for snacks.
Fritz is shopping for snacks. Just in case, I say, tempting, but I want to kind of keep a clear head if we're going to be going in a bit. You got my message about that?
Aye.
Yeah. So I just wanted to see if what we've got reflected in these reports are still what's going on, or if the situation's changed, or just kind of what are we looking at? You seem to know to be someone who'd be in a position to know better.
You're going to want to land on Skull Gorge. I'll give you the coordinates. The rock is honeycombed with craters that hide the undead.
What's the atmosphere like there, if any?
Cold. You'll want your life suits.
Gotcha.
The research station is no longer operational from what we can tell. Didn't catch up with the pirates till after they'd left the rock.
Right.
Taken as good as they gave. They were a miserable, sorry lot when we attacked and routed what was left of them. One shipload escaped and destroyed the others. The Black and the Space Sharks got the survivors, so we never got a first-hand account of what happened. So.
So do we have any ideas about what sort of numbers we're looking at down there?
Who knows for sure? We never got anywhere near the place. The facility's atmosphere was apparently vented during the pirate attack. Whatever atmosphere was left after all this time.
Gotcha. Huh.
Out there in the Black and abandoned facility doesn't necessarily mean an empty one.
Sort of nods. So, I mean, did you hear anything from? Do we have any like? What were the last transmissions from there? Like, did anything give any sort of clue as to what might be going on down there, or did they just suddenly stop?
Oh, it's decades ago. It was a Terran research space cut off during the Rift Wars.
Okay. Trying to think of other appropriate questions. I assume we've already got like the dimensions of the sort of how big the research base is and all that.
Yeah. At least how big the above ground area was. Whether they have a bunker underneath, you're not sure.
Okay. Do we have any information about what they were working on by any chance?
Do you?
That's a good question. Because up until this point, I'm not sure if I thought to ask.
I don't think you asked.
No, I did not.
Are you asking now?
I think I will ask now.
Okay.
So what, do we know what they were working on down there?
Major Ursa does not know. If you would like to make a history check to see what you may know or have heard about Terran research in that era, you may do so. Oh.
Okay, I shall. I will roll one of these dice. I know very little.
Oh.
That was a 7.
I'm so sorry. I should have dunked them in holy water before I sent them.
Too late! See, it's a good question. Okay.
So, if you'd like to ask Fritz probably knows a little bit more about the area than a retired Lickshay officer.
Trying to think if there's anything else I need to ask this ask the Major.
I just love hearing my terrible accent.
I do.
I like your accent.
I mean, it seems pretty straightforward. Go in, kill undead.
Yeah.
Just add holy water. But I guess no. I'll just ask just before taking off. I'll say, okay, seems pretty straightforward. But I'll sort of look at I actually, yeah, I'm going to look at this guy's sort of attitude as we're talking about it, and see if it feels as though there's anything that he's not talking about.
Okay. I'm not even gonna make you roll an insight check. He seems pretty straightforward.
Okay. So in that case, I'll just say,
Yeah.
is there anything else you think we should know before we go in there?
Oh, but if you need the radio back, feel free. I will do my best to stay in communication.
All right. Will do. And as I'm sort of heading out, so he didn't really say there wasn't much, just where we need to land, and they're in the craters.
He
so
can
yeah,
just give you the coordinates of the most likely landing space.
yeah, that's true.
If you feel if you feel like landing above the abbey and climbing down, that's another option. And he's sort of marked that area as well. But
Okay.
the clearest place to land is in Skull Gorge.
Okay. So I'll do on the general comms through the ship. I'll say, okay, I'm going to send over the. Okay, I've got the coordinates that they're recommending. I got 2 sets of them. The more likely, and then the if we want to like land on top of the building coordinates. So here you go. Send those over. Switch comms over. This, well, I mean, I sort of say, as I'm sort of heading back down, I'm saying, hey, Fritz, you happen to remember what they did at this station? Did you ever hear anything about that?
Oh, sure. Quick, what did they do?
It was listed as a medical research station and field hospital during the Rift Wars. And being that it was from an outpost of the Terran hegemony, you do know that once upon a time, High Terra was ruled by a wizard who was really interested in immortality.
Yeah, so this was a field hospital and did medical research, but it was Terran medical research, so there was a lot of, sketchy stuff about immortality and living forever, and yeah, all that kind of fun stuff.
Oh,
A
great.
lot of rumors around that, but yeah. That said, it's basically a medical facility.
There's a pause, and then it's like, so you think they were researching how to, so that they were using undead as part of their research?
Incidentally or accidentally, on purpose, or maybe it came to the attention of somebody else who was doing undead stuff. There's a lot of stuff floating around, but it could, maybe, and maybe it's completely coincidental.
Like the hegemony was led for a long time by a lich. Is that something that I'm remembering correctly, or am I?
That is correct.
Yeah, and then there was like a revolution or something, and that resulted in us, I guess. And is the hegemony still being ruled by a lich?
Let's see.
As far as we know,
there was originally Likshay was part of the hegemony.
yeah.
And Likshay was like the front line trying to expand towards the Orcish territory, and then somebody set off an arcane warhead that went off right in the middle, and Lexay was stranded on the other side of the dead magic zone from Terra and cut up. But like during that whole time, the Lich was whether forced or voluntarily, he stepped down.
Right. Okay.
So he is at least not publicly running the show, but who knows? Because we're over here busy dealing with orcs and pirates.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's very interesting. All right. So yeah, that's a thing. Okay. Well, good to know.
Yep.
I think that's all I've got. If anyone else, I'm just gonna head back to the ship and make ready.
Okay. Fritz, is there anything particular you're looking to pick up from the convenience store?
So there are these long cookie sticks covered in chocolate and caramel that are called boopy sticks. Definitely need those. And there is a particular kind of very sweet, it's like an energy drink, except it doesn't really work on anybody but gnomes who are like super hyped on sugar and like more sugar and like excessive sugar. And yeah, so they have to be like pressurized in order to keep from like exploding. So yeah, you can only find them on the Maws and like properly pressurized ships. They don't travel well. They have a tendency to explode in the hold and create an ungodly mess. So yeah, can really only get them and consume them around the Maws.
They might be even more rare in Lexay territory than Hypercrash is.
Yeah, probably so. That, and they're not really that well known outside of truly gnomish territory.
This is true.
This is a very, taste of home thing. Definitely going to grab a couple cases.
All right.
And stash them in some part of the ship that I can keep highly pressurized. And hope that nothing happens.
Okay. Probably stick them somewhere.
Yeah,
you can rig something.
There's a bulkhead somewhere that I can throw an extra set of.
Absolutely. You've probably set up a smuggler's compartment in the hold somewhere.
I have probably found the smuggler's compartments in the hold
and made adjustments to it as needed.
Oh, absolutely. And I make sure that Ted understands that they exist and it's fine for him to put his stashes there. But I do warn him about the excessive pressure in this one and the fact that the organic liquids could probably stick his gears together really badly and he wants to avoid it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. And yes, cool. You can shop for gifts, and I'm sure you can find something.
Yeah, if there's time.
Yeah, sure.
And then I will just sort of conceal it somewhere in my quarters.
Yep. And you can all take as much time on the station as you want to. And when you are ready to head out, then you can make your way to the Abbey or to the asteroid, and your sensors will indicate that there is in fact a cratered valley where you can land. It's basically the Abbey is built in this huge crater, and there is space for you to land there, and it will be a bit of a spacewalk.
I assume we're not trying to land on top of the building. That, I guess, is the question for anyone who's...
That's up to your pilot. There isn't, I will say, there isn't much of a building to land on, but you could land on the rim of the crater and try to climb down if you think that would be better. That might get you slightly closer to the ruined abbey.
I think that the major, having military experience, probably chose that spot for a reason. But that's my recommendation. This is up to our pilot to put us down somewhere we won't die.
What's the trickier landing? The
Oh,
rim
God.
without falling, or by the building without destroying it?
Depends on how many loop-de-loops you throw in.
2.5. We're not escaping
Half.
yet.
Half. Think about that for a second.
It'd be more like a barrel roll.
That still doesn't work. No.
Make a piloting check for me.
Sure. Seven. That
That's
20
the
was
half.
great before.
Probably best to just put down in the valley.
So much for testing those shields. She sets them down in the valley.
All right. So, before you exit the ship, is there anything particular you would like to do?
Is there an atmosphere on this asteroid?
No. Not really.
Okay, so Rek'Marah is going to do some ritual casting before he heads out. First spell that he's going to cast is Zone of Atmosphere, and he's going to cast it centered on let's see. He's going to center it on his son's staff. So
Okay.
basically, a 30-foot sphere centered on his son's staff is going to be breathable, clean air for the next hour. And the next thing that he's going to cast is a spell called Beast Sense. And he's going to do that on what's his name? Zed? Yeah, I guess that's the name. Zed
Thwirl?
is the Thwirl.
Yeah.
Shows how much he cares.
Okay.
And that allows him to see through the beast's eyes and hear through his ears.
Okay. So Rek'Marah has created some atmosphere. Are you going out to do recon?
Yeah, I guess we're going to do that.
Taking anyone with you?
Well, Zed. I guess he'll take Lasness with him.
Okay. Lastness, is there anything you would like to do to prepare for this spacewalk?
No. Just want to have my holy grenades ready.
Okay,
My 2.
you have them.
I just want to make sure it is communicated to anyone going out that they to watch for the craters and the sort of the honeycombed crater type areas, because that is where the undead like to
Yes.
lie in wait.
I believe that is why the paladin is going out.
Yes.
She has a sense for these things.
I do.
Okay, so I guess the basic point is that he's going to try to make his way towards the abbey and make sure that it's maybe the atmosphere or the life support systems in it are activated so that they have a better place to operate from.
Okay.
Do we want to send Damascus out as well for this similar purpose, or do we wait until the main body is going in?
Up to you.
I forget how clerics work. If there's like anything they tend to have that makes it easier for this type of thing or not.
Let's make Narita go with us. She's got a life suit on, so if for whatever reason something breaks on my son's staff and cancels the spell, you have
I mean, you
chance.
all have life suits you could
Yeah.
be wearing if you so choose.
Yeah, I was figuring we were going to put on the life suits and go, but if we don't, however you want to do it.
Rekmara's not going to bother with a life suit.
Do you just want me to go so I can just like do the touch thing to keep you on the brink of death when your spell fails?
You've got an hour.
Just likes watching her eat things in her little, float by in the bubble tank suit and.
So when I step outside, I'd like to activate my ability to sense good and evil.
All right. And you can, with that sense, you can pretty much help Rekmara avoid any little caves or pockets where there may be undead hiding. And you can make your way to the ruined abbey, which as you get closer, you can see that all that remains of it is kind of a hulking frame of twisted metal filled with blackened rubble. It's just kind of a bombed out husk. It is obvious that someone or something has been sorting through the debris. The sorted bits and pieces have been piled inside the scorched square of the foundation. Ruined cooking utensils, crushed pots and pans, mangled kettles, and less identifiable metal objects lie in one pile. Broken crockery, plates, porcelain, and pottery are heaped in another. There's a great deal of wood for some reason. Somebody brought in wooden furniture for some reason. It's been piled into another mound of burned scraps. And in the center of the ruins, there is an opening. And as you move nearer, you can see a metal staircase leading down into the darkness. And also, you can see a six-legged construct with eyes, legs, and antennae at both ends, and an array of measuring devices near its center, methodically picking its way through the ruins, stacking salvageable items, and packing valuable goods into the interior of its construct body.
Rekmara is going to call out to them. Since he's attuned to that shard of the obelisk, he's going to try to speak out to them in that language of machines. Like, excuse me, can you communicate?
It turns its antennae toward the sound of your voice.
Yes, no.
What a pain.
I'm sorry. It's a pain to communicate. I mean, I agree, but, we do what we must.
Stack things. Sort. Valuables. Collect the stuff.
Okay. Thanks for providing your job description.
So boring.
Do you mind if my companions and I just explore down into the Abbey?
I don't care. I just sort.
Do you report to another construct or individual?
Whoever pushed the button.
Ah, well, that's very industrious of you. Is there anything dangerous that we should be aware of down underneath?
I don't know. I just sort.
Well, thank you. That was very helpful. If you don't mind, we are going to pass through and, if we see anything interesting, we'll let you know.
I tried to sort the bones, but they keep moving around.
Were the bones attached together?
Yeah.
Well, we're just going to have to go down there and fix that, aren't we, Lasness?
Yeah. She looks at Narita and says, I don't know what they're talking about, but we're going in, I think.
Should we?
No, it's kind of our job. We're here to clear the area.
Aren't the others still in the ship?
Well, yeah, but I thought it would be polite if we actually make sure that there are life systems activated here so that we can, manage without having to clunk through with our life suits. I mean, I can breathe, but you less magical folk are not as gifted. So,
Some of us manage to clunk around just fine all the time, sir.
well, yeah, but you have to wear a water suit to do that, and well, Sparkly Girl does something that I don't know of.
Well, we can head down first, I guess. They can come get our corpses if we don't make it. That's fine.
Am I Sparkly Girl?
Yes.
I'm Sparkly Girl.
All right, Zed, time for you to earn your keep. I want you to go ahead, but stay within about 25, 30 feet until we get the life support systems activated.
Case.
Muted.
You did.
It was just the beginning of the audio that cut out. I
Okay.
think you're okay now.
So you make your way down, and as you head down the staircase, you can see that there is a blaster's guard, but functional airlock, and it is sealed from the inside. And that is where we're going to call the session and pick up in 2 weeks.
Excellent. Very cool. Very cool. I feel as though we should do something with that robot. but we'll have to figure it out. I wonder if they don't want to sort anymore.
I know. We can liberate the robot.
Build our robot army.
Or maybe give it a Wi-Fi server so it can, like, surf the net while it sorts. Then
Yeah,
it's
I
not
mean,
bored.
that at
It's still
least.
serving a function.
Yeah. I mean, the question is, like, how long ago did they tell it to start sorting? I mean, it might not really be necessary anymore.
They could sort
Well-
elsewhere.
Yeah.
Well, they're not done with their sorting, obviously. If they're
That's true.
still sorting, then they should at least finish their work.
Well, that's the reason they're not done is because the bones keep moving. I think that may be part of the problem.
Well, yeah, but that's nothing that we can't solve with, a few well-placed blaster shots.
With any luck.
With a little nuke it from orbit, what can't we solve?
Yeah.
The answer to all life's
We're gonna nuke it
questions.
from orbit while the sorting beast is doing the thing.
Yeah, we gotta figure that out. But this was delightful. It's very cool just sort of seeing how all of these things work, and I want to thank Alyssa very much for being patient with us.
Oh, you're welcome.
As we obsess over tiny things sometimes. I know I do. But let us go ahead and go around and do our outros. Once again, feel free to tell folks where they can find you and say like favorite moments or anything else you wanted to make as your final thoughts for this session. And we will start, as always, with our station master, Alyssa.
My name is Alyssa. You can find me at Origami Shuriken on Twitter. I don't usually do anything on my own Twitch channel, but I do have links there to my schedule as well as in my pinned tweet on Twitter. I have 2 episodes left of The Wall on Encounter Roleplay, and that is on Monday afternoons at 3 p.m. Eastern. As for tonight's session, I quite enjoy coming up with voices for the snarky robots and the bored robots and various and sundry other creatures that one might not necessarily expect to have a personality. And yeah, I'm very happy that I have prepared so far ahead so that I can go wherever you all decide to go. I have something, and if not, I just make some shit up.
That was awesome. Thoroughly awesome. Yeah, I love the I love that the robots have voices, and I just love that the the whole thing with the Ted's upgrade was a delight.
Yeah, that was fun.
Now we're going to go over to Mem.
Hey. And then you basically just, at this point, I'm going to stop saying other things in other places because you basically just find me here. I have very little presence elsewhere. I keep trying to change it and it hasn't changed. So just catch me here in a couple weeks. Favorite moments tonight. My baby Ted becoming a grouchy, angry teenager, apparently. Not my real dad. Although I guess technically Narita didn't hear that part, but I still loved it. Also, the construct we just met saying that communication is a pain. Feel you, buddy.
Definitely. I definitely feel that. And May.
Hi, everybody. My name is May. You can find me mostly here every Sunday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. And I have a Twitter, but not much goes on there. Favorite moment of the night was the TED Talks. And I just want to say once again, thank you to everybody that's part of this game, including the watchers. I really appreciate everyone. Thank you.
Yes, thank you all so much for hanging out and watching us do these silly things. It is much appreciated, and it's just a delight. It is a delight. And now let us head over to Cazimi.
Hi, I'm Cazimi. I am here. I really don't have a presence outside this game. And I also really loved TED 2.0, the upgrades, the fellow technical being on the ship. I have a feeling that there's a lot more shenanigans that could happen in the future. I also sort of appreciated having to come up with the name of a maw off the top of my head, but we'll make do. We'll see where that goes. And I look forward to seeing what we do on this asteroid in this corner of space.
Me too, definitely. And over to Anino.
How's it going, everyone? My name's Anino. You can find me on Twitter at Anino Gaming. Had a fun time continuing to develop the laconic apocalypse clone that is Rekmara. So, let's see, what do I have going on? This Thursday, you can catch me again here on this channel for The Sprawl, in which everybody did a lot of dickish things that made more work for Bill, who kind of identifies with Rekmara right now.
Every
Friday
Same
is
character everywhere, right?
yeah, no,
not
not
need to get together
everywhere.
and have a drink at some point. They should commiserate.
And then on Friday, you'll catch me over on the Wandering DM channel for the second episode of season 2 of Cyberpunk Red, in which Menez tries to deal with all of the really obnoxious and dickish things that his teammates have performed in the light of the certain events. So, and then Saturday again is Invisible Sun, which Beck the Husk also tries to deal with the very bad decisions of his teammates.
Whereas in those cases, a lot of times they don't even remember having done it.
Let's just twist the knife.
It's what we do. Awesome. All right, and once more, I want to I want to say once again thanks to Jade Nebula for the many things that you see, the people, silhouettes, busts, things, people, drawings. These are the words I am looking for. I used to know how these things went. They're over here. Thank you all. Just a big thanks to Jade Nebula for doing those. Also, once again, for folks who would like to lean towards supporting a charity, the once again the Sprawl crew that we was just mentioned are doing a donation drive for the Bail Project. We are Team Phyllis. If you are interested in donating to that to help out protesters. And also, once again, I just sort of like to raise awareness about Campaign Zero, which is basically dedicated to ending police violence, and basically getting the data they need to do so. And so, always recommend checking those out. Once again, I'm Jim Ryan. You can find me at OtherDoc on Twitch and Twitter. My website is jimyesthatjim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. I have links down below to my website, Twitter, YouTube channel, and some fiction and games I've been working on, along with links to game signups and applications to join our Discord. So, what's happening? Tomorrow night, Monday nights, I am over on Salty Sweet Games playing in their 5e campaign, Strange Invasion, Assault on the Barrier Peaks. On Tuesday nights this month, we are doing our June mini campaign, which is Casketland. That is an occult western powered by the apocalypse. On Thursday afternoon, I am running over on Encounter Roleplay. I am going to be over there running Deadlands Noir, Dreams of Dust, a Western Noir game set out in the Dust Bowl. On Thursday night, as mentioned previously, we have The Sprawl, run by MC Brian, also powered by the Apocalypse cyberpunk game. On Saturday, I run Invisible Sun, The Edge of Paradox. We're still on a train. Hopefully, one day we will escape this train. But I feel as though we're getting closer. We're getting closer. Stuff's happening. Oh my goodness, people. Oh my goodness, people dropping. But that said, here, let's go over there for a moment while we do that. So yeah, basically, that's most of what is happening here. And 1 week from today, I am taking off because I am going to need a little time to kind of deal with some stuff on a week from today. And so kind of taking next week off. So I'm not doing a one-shot, and we will not be doing this. We will be back in 2 weeks. And so we're very much looking forward to seeing you folks then. Right now I do not have any signups running, but I will let folks know as soon as I have those set up. I'm sort of changing the way I'm doing signups for the one-shots. We'll sort of figure that out soon. And signups for next month's mini campaign will probably be up soon as well, and we'll jump on that as soon as we are able. Yeah, I think that about wraps it up. What are we doing next month, I wonder? 50 Fathoms. That's what we're going. That's our short campaign we are doing next month. Oh, are we back? Are we back? Is everyone back? Yes, they are. Okay, let me switch back to that screen. So there we go. Let's see. I cannot walk and chew gum at the same time. When we go to the
We're
end
all
card,
different people.
not anymore. I have reassembled us. When we get to the end card, he says, trying to pay attention to 19 things at once. We are going to send a raid over to Mythic Grove. They are doing a Masks charity campaign for the Bale Project, which I had previously mentioned. The charity, one of the charities I previously mentioned. So we're going to go over there and say hi. Wally is over there, who was in our Masks campaign that we had going on here for a while, along with some other folks. So we're going to go over there and say hi to them. Feel free to hang on if you are so inclined and say hi to them with us. That, again, will be when we hit the end card. In the meantime, folks, thank you all very much for watching. Take care, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Farewell.